Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of season of Layers of Pain. Everybody, come on in and have a seat today. So, today's episode is entitled Forgiveness Isn't Forgetting. So, I want to jump right into this, everyone, because I know everybody's out and about, doing what they need to do, but you can always watch this replay here on Facebook and YouTube of Layers of Pain YouTube channel. So I'm going to talk about this. This is a heart to heart kind of conversation. I've been a busy day, so I'm just, I'm chilled out. So this chapter of this particular message, forgiveness isn't forgetting, releasing bitterness. For years, I held on to bitterness. People, situations, it really chipped away over me. What it caused me to lose sleep. It caused me to be angry. It caused me to really lose myself. And what I mean is, like, I held on to grudges for a long time. And, I was having this conversation just with my oldest and some things that she needs to address and, fix within herself. And I hope that she does one day about, forgiveness and bitterness and that sort. And it got me to thinking, like, I really held on to a lot of that stuff that really was bothering me, even as a youngin. Uh, People that I thought were friends or people that I thought really had their best interests at heart turned out it really wasn't. And many of you, like, you spend a lot of time talking about this because this is pain that I consumed. Could I avoid some of these situations? Yeah. But when you not aware of it, like I wasn't aware of it, it was a little confusing and a little, how would I say it, shocking. And for, like I said, a long time I held with bitterness and things of that sort. So I had to learn how to forgive. Like the situation about my mom's side of the family, and I'm going back to, I have to learn how to forgive. And that's a process. And forgetting, no, but forgive, yeah. But I find so much peace that I've released a lot of that bitterness because I used to wake up in the morning very angry. I used to wake up in the morning very angry, very disgusted. I was just a mess. But since I got rid of bitterness in my life, baby, I find more peace because the toxicity is not in my life anymore. It's gone all the way. Healing emotional wounds, wound scars. I think being let down and disappointed are one of the things that I struggle with most of my life. Being let down and disappointed by people and how they treated me and how they just dismiss or disregarded my feelings. And that left an emotional wound inside of me. And I did address people about that, but did they change? No. They're going to be who they are. And I had to really learn how to heal from that. I really had to stop blaming myself for other people's flaws. I really had to stop blaming myself for people's shortcomings because at the end of the day, I addressed it. It didn't change. So I had to learn how to move differently and move out their way and walk a different path. And that path is healing my emotional wounds. So, with that being said, I had to really say, you know what, Trisha, you can't keep continue to giving people the benefit of the doubt, or you can't keep finding excuses of why the behavior is still inconsistent. You got to start living for you. And honestly, I'll tell you, when I start turning into a different direction about, oh, why would somebody not text me back, or why has this person not responded to me? Why when I reach out and call them on the phone and leave a message, they never call me back? That was going on for a very long time for one particular person. I kept pouring. Like one day said, stop doing that. Stop texting, stop calling, stop everything. They try to flip the script out to make me be the bad guy. Because why you don't call, why you don't text? Because they knew their inconsistency and their behavior was not acceptable. They make and play with everybody else like that, but I've learned that you cannot play with me like that because I do have feelings. If you are concerned about me or what was going on with me, you'd be able to apologize and say, think I'll accept that. I stopped accepting that behavior because it was repetitive. And I had to heal from those emotional wounds because it was like darts, every darts. I literally tell you, everyone, I used to overthink so bad about why a person felt the way they felt. I used to be overwhelmed and anxious about the situation. I used to be so confused by why does this person treat me the way they treat me. And I finally got answers to a lot of these questions that I've been longing for. They treat me the way they treat me because that's how they view me. I am not a priority into their life. They don't care about me as much as I cared about them. I'm only thought about on occasions when it's convenient for them. And I'm somebody that they look at differently and love differently than I love. And I had to look at it like that. I'm like, well, dog, wow. Did it hurt? Of course it hurt. It's an emotional wound. Even with family, same thing, emotional wound. But I had to understand that people don't view me the way I view myself. And they don't view me the way I view them because they don't see me the way I see them. They don't show up for me like I show up for them. They were like a blue on the wind. They would come in, woo, and they would go away. Woo, blow in, come in, go away. Even now, when people check up on me, I already know what it is. They come in, whoop, and they disappear because they know they're not going to be consistent on their way of dealing with me because they know they're not right. But they handle it in a way to get me, they're trying to make it seem like I am the person that this and that and the third. And I tell you this, no. Certain behaviors are not allowed in my life anymore. I'm not allowing things at this given time to interfere with me. I had a couple of occasions that a person tried to play in my face, and it went left. I didn't get mad. I didn't get stressed out. I didn't get. I didn't lose sleep over it. Nothing. I had to really dig deep within myself. Okay, this person is who they are. They're not changing for you or anybody else because they can, like I said, come in like a wind, whoop, go away like that. Whoop. And that's what many of them did. I was the light in their life. And many of them could not really fabricate the things I was sharing to them. They saw me as a helping hand. They saw somebody that was dependable. But when I switched that ticket around or changed the game on them, well, they didn't know that I'm moving differently. I'm definitely moving differently because I don't move and vibe the same way I used to. And the thing about it is, I stopped thinking and stopped really searching and discovering, like, why am I searching for something that can just instantly come to me on the drop of a dime? Why am I giving people opportunities to let me down when I got people sitting in the back room waiting to jump right in the front seat to be there for me? They've been waiting and waiting. And I see the consistency of those who reach out. I see the consistency of those who check up on me. I see that now versus me chasing people who ain't even paying me no mind. I gotta be the one that texts first. I gotta be the one that get on the phone. I stopped doing that because it was draining me. It was draining me mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And I'm getting scars all over myself, bleeding physically, like physically, but in the spiritual aspect of wounds of people that don't really appreciate me. So I stopped really dealing with it. I stopped reaching out. I stopped calling. I stopped texting. I stopped doing all of that. And kid you not, they don't even check on me. That part. So guess what? I wash my hands of it. Because why I'm going to keep chasing somebody that's going to be doing the same behavior time and time again. If you want to leave my life, hey, so be it. Because I know now where you stand in my life. I'm not somebody that's important to you. I'm a thought that comes in your mind when you sitting on social media scrolling on, when you sitting at the house chilling or whatever. I'm like a thought that comes in your mind because I'm not somebody that you think about all the time. And that's what I had to understand that. That's what I had to understand for myself. I had to understand that. And I understand people are busy and I understand people go through things. But don't treat a person as an object instead of importance. If you really love and care with somebody, vocalize that. And many don't know how to vocalize that. They can feel like, oh, she's all right with that. Oh, no, 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 no. I call people out on it. Do they respect it? No. Do they change? No. I said, okay, I forgive, but I don't forget. Moving forward. So as I move forward through that, it's been a long journey. And when I tell you, it put me in a better place. That said, thank you, Jesus, for getting rid of some of these people. He had to force them out because I kept holding on. And what I tell you is, I wake up in the morning, I get up and pray, read my word, do my daily routines. I don't have that thought in my mind about individuals that's not thinking about me. That's how I used to feel. I used to wake up and worry about somebody who wasn't worried about me. That's how I was. So now I wake up with other things in my mind. And it's not anyone in particular that comes in the back of my mind like that anymore, because I don't let that consume my energy anymore. Because it doesn't bring the right move in the right place in my life for me to understand. So my daily habits, like I mentioned, get up, pray, read the word, meditate, do my little ins and outs in the morning, maybe jumping on social media to check on and see what's going on, get off of there, feed the cats. I tell you what my routine is. If my kids gonna get up and do it, make me some breakfast, strategize my day, and keep it pushing. My mindset has changed. Again, I wake up in peace. I wake up thinking about things that is completely different versus of what I used to think about. I used to think about, why is this person not speaking to me? Why is this person pushing me away? Why is this person not respecting me? Why is this person letting me down? Why does this person just walk out my life and don't have any regard for letting me? Why are they doing this? And I questioned that for so long. I was like, you know what? I washed my hand of it. Now, I don't think about who leaves and who comes anymore. Because what I notice is that when my mind shift has changed, I don't sit here and dwell about, why this person don't care about me, or why this person, and many of you may have been going through that. I'm trying to tell you, when you let this thing go, you ain't got no time to worry about that. So, with inner growth started when I began to realize my worth. My worth was valued a long time ago, but it took me a long time to get there. I had to remind myself, why am I continue to chase people that's not chasing after me? Why am I continue to be around people who don't appreciate me? Why do I continue to pour into an empty glass that doesn't want to be filled? I was doing that for so many of them, but a lot of them didn't want to change. They want to say, okay, I hear you, but kept doing the same thing repeatedly over and over again. And they didn't understand the things that were going on. I involved in something completely different. I jumped over from who I used to be to somebody new, and a lot of them didn't rock with that. A lot of them didn't want to deal with that. A lot of them didn't really flow with me like that, because they seen that inner growth. They see that I see things that, for example, the things of behavior like that they really tolerate, except it was toxicity. It was toxic. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. And the things that I see now is healthy, because not only have I shifted, I look at things a lot more effectively. I don't dwell, I don't go back and try to see how this person, that person is, or go back to certain times where things don't ravel. Do they surface up? Yeah, of course they do every now and then. But I don't let it fester on. I'm like, wait a minute, Lord, you done brought me out of this mess. So why am I going on and on and on about something that really doesn't matter anymore? Because it is what it is, and it's not going to even go back to what it was. And the thing about it is, the reality is, when I begin to realize that I can heal from these layers of pain, inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. It began to really resonate with me. Why do you give people an open door to just kind of walk all over you and do this and do that? I had to learn how to be my own voice. I had to learn up and stand up for myself. I had to learn that some things just not necessary. I used to be the one to be that yes girl. Not when it comes to certain things. I stopped being that yes girl a long time ago because it was burning me. It was draining me. It was mentally destroying me. And was I getting any credit for this? No, I was not. I was not. Because they felt like they can keep going on. You know when you go to like a restaurant, one of the restaurants where they have that door open with a kitchenette, that's how people kept feel like they can come back to me in my life. But boy, when I put that nodule down and say no, they backed off because they knew they overstepped their place in my life. They overstepped it and they overcrossed it by their words. They overcrossed it with their action. They overcrossed it with their ways. So now, when they come to me, I already know what to expect. Not the same energy that I'm bringing. So, ladies and gentlemen, healing is a lifestyle, and I have made that my lifestyle. I've healed from grief. I healed from trauma. I healed from child trauma. I healed from all kind of things that resonate with me because I know in my mind that what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing is a lot more better than money can buy. And what do you mean by that? When you are really, really, truly valuing yourself and your true worth of what you want to happen about healing, you want to make this a daily practice. You want to make this a mind shift change. You want to have an inner growth. And what I've seen in myself, I'm loving it. Because not only am I helping the men and women, I'm touching people of all walks of life about healing, growing, and developing, sharing stories, peeling back the layers, stepping into a purpose and peace and personal power. When you have a purpose, which I have a purpose, when I have peace, I have peace. When you have personal power that you're sharing, and you share these stories with people, and you begin to illustrate. So the other day, I was having a conversation with a secretary and whatnot. We were talking about biblical things and whatnot, and she was talking about certain things that she dealt with as a youngin', and she was explaining how blessed that she was, and is explaining how God has really taken care of her, and she has a purpose and a will in her life that she has to fulfill. A lot of times, I didn't think about that. I knew there was something different about me, but at the same time, I didn't know what it was. But then when I started talking to different people who were so deep connected, rooted to God, they really start to really branch that out, and it started to really just start falling off, falling off, falling off. And they kept saying this thing over and over and over again that it started to register. Wait a minute. This is why you go through what you go through because of who you are and what you become. And it's like, wait a minute. And I kept thinking about it. I'm like, nah, 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 nah. But then they just everybody kept saying the same thing over and over again. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Is this really what it is? And truth behold, it is. And I kid you not. When I begin to realize that, it's like, wait a minute. You have these gifts, you have these talents, you have these things, you have things that you can do to help people, the tools, the resources, and it start to click. Everybody say, "Well, you need to be a counselor because you know how to talk to people, you know how to listen to people." I done heard that several times. And not only that, they say you should sign up to be a life coach because you have this thing about listening and really grasping the concept about humans, and you can relate to a lot of things or know things that can help somebody. And it's true. It really is. And I didn't really think about it until later on down the line. That when I met certain people in my life, at that time, I didn't really process it. But now, as I look at the things and the book that's getting ready to release, I read this book. And what I say is, it blew my mind. The things that I wrote. And when you all get a copy of this, you're going to be like, whoa. because it's been sitting there. And a lot of times when things sit there, you're not ready to let the world see what you really are. But I said, you ready? So you all gonna find out soon enough about this book. You all gonna find out this book and the other books that are coming out later on down the line. But this one particularly it's gonna help some people. Well, I should say a lot of people, because people go through these day-to-day issues all the time. So when you read about it and hear another person's story about it, you be like, wait a minute, this is really what I'm going through, and how can I get past this? By stop allowing it to consume you. If you let it consume into your spirit, if you let it consume deep down in your soul, it's going to trouble you to the core. Stop trying to get your get back from people. It's not worth it. And I've heard it time and time again. God hits harder than we do. So we're going to let God be God. Ooh, because he's going to do it for you, and he's going to do it for you big. Just like he do it for me, he going to do it for you. So just sit back, relax, chill out, don't worry. Because your time will come where you will rise, you will thrive, you will exceed, and you will go above those expectations, ladies and gentlemen. So, on that note, everybody, this concludes this podcast. I'm very long winded because it just kind of comes from the heart. But what I'm sharing unto you all today is the antidote and the remedy about healing, and how healing can transform you from the inside out. It starts from the inside. So when you start working on yourself in the inside, you really got to start thinking about, I want to pull some of this stuff out of yourself. A certain name or person really gets to your skin. You need to really work on that. You need to ask God to help you with that. And I had to ask God to help me with that. hmm But when names or situations comes up, it doesn't hurt as much. And when you finally doesn't hurt as much, then it comes to a place that it don't hurt at all, because you have overcome it. That's my time, everybody. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. with episode 6. So, as we're wrapping up this podcast, I'm doing a mini webinar after this podcast so everybody can chime in. And I'll be having a flyer of that surfacing over social media. And then I'll have the flyer of when the book release will be out for you all to purchase and pursue. So it's amazing. So promotion. So if you know any friends or family who needs to listen to this podcast, have them follow Layers of Pain YouTube channel. Follow this page to catch up with these episodes. This will be available on YouTube on demand, ladies and gentlemen. So everyone, I hope you have a fantastic and a wonderful Saturday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. You thought yesterday and today's topic was good. Y'all gonna be mind blown what I'm gonna say tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a blessed evening and be safe out there. Keep your eyes and ears to what's going on in this world. All right, be encouraged.